Hey everybody! I'm here today with a beginner driving lesson on approaching a turn safely. If you are a beginner driver, you definitely need to learn how to drive safely. And one of the things that you will do most frequently as a driver, especially as a new driver, is make right and left hand turns. Now, before you actually make those turns, you have to approach the turns. So I'm going to be going over a few simple steps that you can use to approach a turn safely. Now, whether you are a beginner driver or an experienced driver, you can probably take something away from this video and learn something new. So let's get right into the video tutorial. So number one, and this is probably one of the most important but underestimated things, is signal. It takes a fraction of a second to activate your signal. And when you're turning, in most modern cars, your signal is actually going to deactivate itself once you've made that turn. So it's really easy to do. All you're doing is really turning the signal on. You're just activating it. And it will allow all of the other drivers around you to know what you plan on doing. Let me give an example of what can happen if you don't signal. Okay, so let's say I'm turning left and I'm not signaling. Now I plan on turning left, but I don't have a signal on, so every other driver thinks that I'm going straight. There's a driver in the oncoming lane of traffic. We're both at a stop. He thinks I'm going straight, or he or she thinks I'm going straight, but really I'm making a left, which crosses their path. So they start going, assuming that I'm going straight. I make a left, boom! Accident happens just like that. And I didn't signal, so realistically it's my fault. I'm not talking about legally whose fault it is, but morally it's my fault. Okay. Number two, the second thing is scan the intersection. Now you want to signal well in advance and you want to scan the intersection as you're approaching it. Okay. Now as you're approaching it, you want to scan the intersection. Just look in all directions of the intersection, see what's going on, and see if you can make that turn safely. It's simple. If there are cars or pedestrians that are obstructing your pathway, or that might obstruct your pathway, you can't turn. If there aren't, you probably can turn. It's not a guarantee, but it's more likely that you can turn. You still have to do other checks, but you know, more likely that you can make that turn safely. The third thing is check your mirrors and blind spot. Okay. Now, you always have to check your rearview mirror. Then you have to check one of your side mirrors, either right or left, depending on which way you're turning, and one of your blind spots, right or left, depending on which way you're turning. If I'm turning right, I check my rearview mirror, my right side mirror, my right blind spot. If I'm turning left, I check my rearview mirror, my left side mirror, my left blind spot. Very simple and straightforward. You check those to see what's going on behind your car and down the sides of your car. And if you see any pedestrians or cars that are obstructing you, don't turn, because it's not safe. If it looks like you're good to go, then you are more likely to be able to turn. Okay. Like I said, you still have to do more checks. So the fourth thing, the next thing is you want to slow down or stop. If there's no stop sign or no red light or nothing that is, causing you to have to stop, then you want to slow down. You shouldn't be taking a turn at the same speed that you're driving on the road at. If I'm going 50 kilometers an hour down a main road and I'm turning right, and I don't have to stop, I still have to slow down. I shouldn't be taking that turn at 50. It's not the way that turns are designed for the most part. Okay, there are some turns that are exceptions to that rule. Some turns are exceptions to that rule, but for the most part, they're not. So you got to slow down or stop. If there's a stop sign, if there's a red light, come to a complete stop. Make sure that your wheels stop moving and come to a complete stop with your front bumper before where it needs to be. You don't want your front bumper encroaching over where the walkway is for pedestrians or anything like that. Stop in the right position and make sure you come to a complete stop. Your wheels need to literally stop moving. Okay, I always recommend stopping for about 3 seconds. That's just my personal preference. That's going to be different depending on where you live. It might be a rule, it might not be. Okay, but look into it, especially if you're going for your driving test. The fifth thing, the next thing that you got to do is plan how much to turn the wheel. Now, this just comes with estimation and practice. If you're a brand new driver, you probably won't know how much you have to turn the wheel. But if you're an experienced driver, you're going to know, I got to turn the wheel a quarter of a turn, 40% of a turn, half of a turn, whatever the case is. The best way, if you are unsure about how much to turn the wheel, just practice. Literally go on the road, make 100 right turns and 100 left turns. You're going to be great by the time that you're done doing that. So just practice. And then last but not least, you want to do the sixth thing, which is to look ahead in the turn. If I'm turning left, I don't want to keep staring at the front of my car. I want to look ahead down the pathway of my turn. Obviously, I'm going to scan in front of my car to make sure that it's safe to proceed, but I want to really look ahead down the pathway of my turn. That's going to allow me to be safer during the turn. It's going to allow me to do a better job at steering through that turn. And it's also going to allow me to see any obstructions or anything on the road and react to those things accordingly in advance. I'm not going to be surprised, like I'm looking in front of the car and then, whoa, there's a pylon in the middle of the road. I'm going to see that pylon in advance because I'm looking ahead in the turn. Now, don't confuse this with looking ahead all the way down this, like this if I'm turning left. Look ahead in the turn. Most of the time, just involves turning your head slightly and using your peripheral vision. And that's it. That is how to approach a turn safely. Those are the basics of approaching a turn safely. Like I said, it's a driving lesson for beginners, but even if you are an experienced driver, you could probably take away some information to help you become a better experienced driver. Take away some information from this video. If you like the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great car and driving videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.